So, hey guys, the next thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna take Miss Lindsay through some exercises for basically core engagement that that I often give my patients. So basically, when we're breathing naturally, you're gonna just feel the core in the diaphragm and everything raise like in a natural way. But when we're trying to engage the core, that's when we're trying to do task specific things. So the more core engagement you need is dependent on the task at hand. So if you're lifting 400 pounds, you need a pretty dang braced core. But if you're only, standing there, you don't really need a lot of core engagement, only enough to keep you standing still and keeping you from falling. So how does that look to kind of work into bridging the gap between normal breathing and core engagement? So I'm gonna have do a little transitional movements for Lindsay into that space. So Lindsay's going to bend her knees, feet flat on the ground, and then you're gonna put this hand here and then the obliquely, basically opposite hand, opposite knee pressure. She is not going to be pushing into the right knee very much. It's 10% of your pressure. So it should be, I'm going to demonstrate here, like if I'm resist me, and it's about that much pressure. So literally not even 10%, you would say, of your pressure into this knee with that hand. And you're using your lat muscle, so shoulders out of the ear, and then you're feeling this oblique sling, we call it. So these muscles that go from here to here turn on as you exhale. So you're gonna take a deep breath in for me, Lindsay, and then as you exhale, you're going to gently put that pressure into the inside of this right knee. Very nice. Now, as she does that, she should start to feel the bottom of the rib cage kind of naturally going down into the floor, and the rest of the core kind of engaging in a wave-like pattern all the way down to the pelvic floor. So do you feel kind of the sternum and bottom of the rib cage dropping as you exhale? Perfect. And then do you feel a pelvic floor at the bottom a little bit?
Yep.
Yeah, perfect. So this is a really, really good way to just kind of begin to feel what it naturally should feel like for that sternum and bottom of your rib cage to push down into the floor to begin that core engagement that we want when we're starting to breathe while core engaging. And again, the reason we're doing this is so we can learn to breathe properly with that core engagement when we are doing harder activities like lifting weights and doing other task specific things that include harder working out. So number one thing I do. Now, the next way she can transition would be to go ahead and let your feet come up into the air, and then feet together, and then you're gonna push this in, yep, perfect, just like that. And then you're gonna match that hand on this side, like you're hugging a beach ball. Perfect. So now nothing has changed besides her raising her legs up. It just makes it a little bit harder for the core to engage. So 10% of her weight is going to be pressing into this inner knee, and she's feeling that bottom of the rib cage press down into the floor with her exhale, and those pelvic floor diaphragmatic muscles are stacking right on top of each other when she does that. And perfect. You feel that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now maybe show how to do things that people tend to want to do would be to start to drop the legs. When that happens, lower back pops up, and we don't want that to happen. So because that's going to take your diaphragm and pelvic floor out of parallel. So we want to make sure the knees are bent, the hips are bent above 90, and then feet together, knees apart, and then again you're hugging that beach ball. The other thing that I tend to see people do is, again, their legs get tired and they're arching their back and they're not pressing the ribs down. Yes, just like that. That was perfect demonstration. That was easy. Okay, so from here, she can just do breathing, but then we can transition into lowering down free opposite knee, leg, and arm. Perfect. With the exhale. So again, Maintaining diaphragm and pelvic floor in parallel are the biggest goals here. Hips and ribs stacked, same thing. And she's only going as low as she can without the lower back popping up. And the goal still is the same, dropping the sternum and the bottom of the rib cage down to the floor as she exhales and lowers down. Good. Now, go ahead and let's do a little sit up for me. I'm gonna put anything, a washcloth folded in half would work, but this is what we had. So we're using this yoga band. We're putting it at the bottom of her rib cage. If she's having trouble feeling the sternum and bottom of the rib cage dropping into the floor, what she can do, let's lower it down just a little bit. Okay, perfect. Does that feel okay to you? Like flat? Okay, yeah, perfect. Okay, so then now without the foam roller or with the foam roller you can do, she's just gonna work on her breathing. Hips a little, there you go, perfect. She's just gonna think about pushing into whatever you have at home, something flat, and that might help give you a little more tactile feedback on how to get the core a little bit more engaged. It's really now do you feel a little bit more? Yeah, it can be a half of an inch more that she feels like she's engaging, and that half an inch is huge in trying to, you feel a difference already, and it can be that, like I said, to the difference between you finally feeling that shaking and that bottom of the bottom of the core or the pelvic floor, top of the pelvic floor start to work and really engage. So really feeling this initial part is super important.